Now we're live. Hello, and welcome to Tea Time with Tech Marketing Leaders. This is a show for marketers by marketers, all about how to B2B market. And what a guest I have for you all here today. I've been waiting for this one. It's going to be a doozy. It is a very hot topic that's happening in the sphere of how to build communities and why we should and why it's important, but it's also like a huge lift. And we have an expert with us here today. We're going to unpack all of the things. Before I get there, a little bit of housekeeping. A little bit of housekeeping to give people time to
Turn
settle
your
in.
phone off so it doesn't ring while Carrie is talking.
Expert right here. Case in point. Let's do this. Yes. And give people a chance to join us. I love doing these live because we get people in the comments here to ask us all of the questions and to have little sidebars of the comments and conversations of their own that we'll chime into later. But I am watching like a hawk. I see you, Trevor Van Warden and Hotness Unleasher. I see you in there. We're here for it. And we're going to respond to all of your questions in real time as we do. Thank you. Yes, audio, Chrome.
Nice.
Well, keep me posted because if I have any issues, I will. I have some tricks up my sleeve. Yes, going live comes with its pros and cons. Totally excited for this conversation. Gianna, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me, Carrie. And oh my gosh, I'm so honored. We have a humongous influencer watching this today, Trevor Van Warden. Wow,
Yes.
what an honor. Hi, Trevor.
I know. Trevor in the house. Let's do this. Bring your folks, Trevor. Let's have a
Bring
great
the hotness.
conversation. Bring the hotness. Unleash it. Let's do this. Yes. Yes. A little bit about Gianna if you don't know her, but I'm sure you know her. She's a dynamic, creative, positive, high performer.
Oh my gosh.
She loves bees. Oh my gosh, bees. We're going to unpack that. It's going to be great. Cybersecurity and building all the things, including community. She's a marketing consultant advisor for cybersecurity companies and tech startups. She currently doesn't have any bandwidth for additional opportunities, but that's why we're here to keep her, just in case. You never know which way things are going to go, and you want to keep Gianna in your back pocket.
This reminds me that I should update my LinkedIn profile.
You're going to give your own intro in a second. I think it's just good for people to have a little spice of what we got going on here. Her passions include startups, social enterprise, cybersecurity, prop tech. Oh, I have questions about that. Real estate, art, food tech. She's a woman of all types of mysteries. Oh, Swasson's here. Yay.
Swasson, hey.
And she's open to connections and messaging and getting to know y'all. So we are here for it, Gianna.
Wow, thank you, Carrie. Oh, are we doing ASMR? You're whispering now. I don't know how to do ASMR. Thank you for having me on. This is fun. I love to be LinkedIn living with all the folks on LinkedIn and with you. And thank you for inviting me on your live show.
I'm so excited to have you. Yes, it's going to be a good show. We're going to unpack all the things related to the wonderful community you've built over at the Cybersecurity Marketing Society. Before we get there, let's hear your story. I'm on the edge of my seat. I wish I had popcorn. Like, what did you do before the Cybersecurity Marketing Society? And then I want to build up to how you got there.
Yeah, so I'll start from the most recent thing and go to the beginning. So I am currently the CEO and co-founder of the Cybersecurity Marketing Society, the best place to be a marketer in cyber. We are a community that helps marketers become better at cybersecurity marketing, network, and we also have a lot of fun. So we're educational and fun, and we've got about 2,500 members from about 800 companies around the globe. A lot of folks in the US. You're whispering again. I should whisper.
I am. No, it's okay. No, it's good. I don't interrupt you. No, it's just what I do. It's a me thing. You'll get over it.
Okay,
Keep going.
cool. I'll get over it. I can roll with the punches here. So before that, I worked at a couple of cybersecurity companies in the marketing department. I was head of marketing at an awesome security startup called Votiro in the content disarm and reconstruction space. If anyone is a security engineer listening, we have a cool Votiro has an awesome solution that proactively removes malware from files before they enter through any channel into your organization. Ooh, okay, cool. um, and before that, I worked at a threat intelligence company, and before that, I was the third person at a commercial real estate and investment development group in Florida. I wasn't a partner. I'm not that fancy, but I spent over 3 years learning about commercial real estate investment and development. During that time, I also founded a small side little company called Lease Honey, which is a platform that matches beekeepers, landowners, and farmers. Before that, I worked at where did I work? I worked at IBM, and I've always had like side hustles, freelance work, consulting along the way. So I've also done cool things in the world of sports innovation research and South by Southwest, startups, accelerator related things. So, yeah, it kind of ended in a ramble there, but that's my story.
Yeah, it's this lovely conglomerate of like these very niche specific startup-y things with this enterprise sort of outlet here and there. So it's you my question to you, Gianna, in terms of your story is how did you find marketing, or maybe marketing found you?
So I told this on Peter's one too, but my parents don't have a college education. They worked in a warehouse, and their main goal for me was that I would work in an office, which was I achieved that. So marketing was an easy transition from my education at college. I went and I got a degree in English, and I got a dual degree in advertising and English. And advertising, for any of you in the industry, know entry level is a bit of a grind. Through networking and actually through the English department, I got my first job at IBM, writing proposals, working with the sales team, being an embedded sort of marketing resource in deal teams, selling very large enterprise software and other things that IBM sells. And I just stayed in marketing since then. I like it. It's fun. We're fun, a fun group here, us marketers.
We we are. And it's so yes, I love to hear how people found marketing, or like I said, I whether we fell into it or found it. It's such an interesting journey, and a great way to get into the office space. That's how I did it. So yes to that,
Mm-hmm.
and yes to Pitch Slap. I can't wait to hear that episode. It's going to be a good one. Peter has doozies of those questions he asks. They're doozies. They're doozies.
They
It's going to
are.
be
They
good.
were good. They were like deep thinkers. I was like, oh, there was like the
Yeah.
Twilight Zone music playing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some pausing. A lot of pausing in that one, pulling it together. Mine is a little less of that. It's a little bit more in your wheelhouse, which I'm excited to get to in terms of our conversation today. Before we get there, I know you're all on the edge of your seats. Calm down. We'll get there. One last question for you, Gianna, is a challenge you're currently facing. So we're all human. Life is hard. It's a welcome to the show of Q4.
Yeah.
What is it for you in this moment that's in your way? Let's make it life a little harder than it
I'm
should
in
be.
my way. I'm in my way a lot. I put my foot in front of my other foot and trip myself. I am running out of time, is what it is. My challenge, it's either me not being able to be efficient enough. It's not that though, because I for anyone who knows me, um, it's learning to delegate, and it is also just time in the day. So we
Not
have our
enough.
conference, right? Cyber Marketing
Yes.
Con. Carrie,
Let's
are
go.
you coming? Are you going to Cyber
No, but
Marketing
my
Con?
business partner is. He will be there.
All
He will be
right.
there in the front
All
row
right.
of every talk. He's ready to
No,
go.
I don't
Yes.
wanna be on this show anymore. So, Cyber
It's just a
Marketing
bit
Con,
far for me.
yeah, is
Yes, but
we're
Mike will
gonna
be
have
there.
300 folks coming to Austin, Texas, and it is 4 weeks away. So for anyone who's done a conference, when I say there's not enough time, there's not enough time because we are running this conference. It is 3.5 days, and it's gonna be amazing. And oh my gosh, does that create so much work for the society right now with the event like 4 weeks out. So I'm tripping over myself. I'm a challenge, and there's not enough time in the day. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean that the event has any risk of being terrible or bad in any way. Let me say that.
fantastic.
It's just the sort of conference planning life. This is what event marketers have to deal with. This is what conference planners have to deal with. There's just a lot of stuff going on. So
there's more moving pieces than you ever can imagine. And as a goer, and you don't know all those moving pieces, that means it's a successful conference, which I know Gianna and team have it in the bag. It's going to be marvelous.
And I'll do a live after the conference, just sharing all the dirt on like how to do a conference. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you all the moving pieces.
Yes, that can I have an exclusive?
Of course. Harry, can I ask you, what's your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge, I'm with you. I don't have enough hours in the day. And I think it's like the letting of go of things, like knowing that I need help, but also not wanting to accept help. Like, I got this. Like, I can do all of these things and I'm perfectly capable. But also forgetting how manual some of these things are. And like, it's okay. It's okay to let them go too. And I'm not an incapable person for asking for help.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You don't have to be the hero in all the things. Like, other people can help. And usually you're like, why didn't I do this like 3 months ago? Trevor says passports in the comments. What does that mean? Is that a secret code?
Yeah, he's alluding to my emergency trip that I had to take last week to I'm bringing my family home for the first time in 3 years back for Thanksgiving because it's my favorite holiday. And my husband realized, thank God for him, that my dual citizen children, so my children are both American and British, and that they need a valid American passport to come home. They can't come home on their British passports. Not okay. So we had an emergency trip to London to retrieve some emergency passports, which means I had to drop everything and hand things off, which went in some cases okay, in some cases not okay, which happens in my haste. And so yes to that, Trevor. Man, struggle is real in not enough time.
I also like that Trevor's just throwing shade at you from the comments here on your live, just like
I'm here for it. My story is all on LinkedIn. We put all that stuff out and air our dirty laundry on a regular basis. So it's what we do. It's cool. I'm here for you, Trevor. I appreciate you. Gianna, back to you, because I am really excited to unpack community with you. You're launching this. This is your second year to do this event. Third, second?
So it's the fourth in its entirety, but the second in person. We were doing virtual for the first 2 years.
Yes, and events are no joke, virtual or in person. Let's build up to it though and paint the picture for folks who may not have heard of the Cybersecurity Marketing Society. I want to know how you all got started. So this was a few years ago that you kicked this thing off. What made you decide that you even needed a community?
Right. So the story starts before the launch point of the society, which was in March of 2020. My co-founder and I, Maria Velasquez, who is brilliant and is currently director of demand generation at NetSpy, a very basically pen testing and services security company. We were both working. We met, in 2019, 2018, a couple of years before we started the society. And we were both working in security, and I was new to the industry, and she was experienced in the industry. She was at a data diode company. I was at a threat intelligence company. Our companies didn't compete, but we were experiencing and engaging in the same markets with similar ICPs, with going to some of the same events. And I was looking to learn from her about the industry, coming from, like I said, I was at commercial real estate investment and development, much different. Like, whoa, cybersecurity. It's a really unique industry. It is highly technical, constantly changing, very difficult to market and sell in, very difficult, and incredibly, incredibly crowded. So I was asking her things. She's also great at marketing automation, marketing ops. I was asking her advice on certain things. She was sharing her knowledge with me. She was asking me things. We were just basically being peer mentors at different companies. It was like really neat. I was like, So we were on the phone one day, we were catching up, and it was like, oh, well, isn't it cool that like we're sharing information about the industry, even though we're at separate companies, because we were both at startups as well, small marketing teams, not a lot of institutional marketing at either of our companies either. And it was like, well, why don't we start like a Slack channel or something? Why don't we do that and invite more people in? Wouldn't that be cool? So we launched the Slack community with our third co-founder and currently on the board of directors, Aileen Cosmano, who's also director of demand gen at Viso Trust. We launched a Slack community with just 10 friends in the industry. And it's just grown from there, basically, until this year, basically all word of mouth and organic.
Wow. All organic. Just that's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, so you said it in the beginning, but just to recap, 2,500 individuals and 800 companies.
Yes. So we're running ads now for our conference. So I'll take that out of the organic pot, but it grew through word of mouth, through the fact that we have become and stayed a very trusted resource for security marketers. We don't allow in salespeople, we don't allow in freelancers, we don't allow in CEOs, we don't allow in agencies, we don't allow in anyone who's not a full-time in-house marketer at a security product or services company. So we have this incredible community where there is trust, where people are not selling, where it is just an amazing resource for anyone at any level inside of cybersecurity marketing. And we, it's a reputation grew because of that. We were also able to help people since we're all sharing and connecting. People have saved lots of money by validating vendors or events that they should go to versus not go to. People have hired full teams. I have literally last week, 2 more people just told me, oh, I got a job. I was unemployed and I got a job because I saw a job in your job board. So we have helped many, many, many cybersecurity marketers during good and bad times. And that is why we've been able to grow mostly through word of mouth since then. Mostly
That's
just people
amazing.
inviting their coworkers, their colleagues, their ex-coworkers. And the industry is small. It's a small world to be in cyber, and it's a smaller world to be in cybersecurity marketing. And we have a big chunk of the marketers out there, not all of them yet. But we're helping keep it small too, by making sure we have a community where people can network and know each other.
I think that's so important. I mean, I learned early on as a vendor that I couldn't get in, and so I signed up for the newsletter and found other ways to connect with you all. But
Yeah.
I so honored. Like I loved that about it, and I wasn't even like, why can't I get in? I work in cyber. This is ridiculous. Like I actually really thought that was a testament, and you hung strong in that too. And I think that is absolutely important to building any community, that it's not necessarily about the numbers and how many,
Mhm.
um, but about the intention. So hats off to you for holding strong
Thank
on
you.
that.
The numbers are coming on their own, but the thing that
Okay.
matters is the trust and the value. That's what matters. Numbers will come, and if they don't come, that's fine, because we are serving, but they are. I will say they are coming.
Yeah, there in droves. Well, the cybersecurity community as a collective, the industry as a whole is just booming, um, for good, better or worse. I don't know, but it's definitely like the place to be right now. The attacks are high, and everybody's trying to figure out how to help everyone be safer. So in different ways. So yes, to that. Startups are happening all over the place, and marketers need to be there. I'm curious for you, Gianna, because it is sort of a walled off garden, not just in the community that you've built, which is important, but also just as the industry as a whole. Like it's a tough market to break into by design, and I'm not discounting it at all. I think it's important that there's a reason for it. But for
Yeah,
you, how did you find yourself in cyber in particular? Because
it's a
you
funny
said you that
story.
you I'm here
It's,
for it.
yeah, because I was in real estate, right? So I was working at the time, I was at this real estate company, and I was working on the side. I'm helping South by Southwest pitch, identify interesting startups to invite to pitch. I ran a team of 10 to kind of scour and find the most interesting, under known companies out there, just early stage startups, to come and apply and try to be on the stage at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. So um, we had a security category that year, and I always found cybersecurity very interesting. I'm just a digital native, and have always thought, even as a lay person, I'm one of those people who are like, we should have a strong password, right? The standard stuff you get if you're not in the industry. I kind of actually took that to heart, and I had invited this one company called Bandura Cyber to apply to come, and they actually got accepted, and they actually pitched on stage to a humongous audience of investors. And afterwards, I went up to them because I was like, cybersecurity, that's so cool. I think that's really neat. And I went up to them. I was like, do you guys need any help with your marketing? Because I do marketing. And they were like, maybe, I don't know, follow up with us. And I did that for like 2 months. So I sent like an email to my wonderful boss, the guy who ended up being my wonderful boss. I sent him an email every 2 weeks for the next 2 or 3 months until I got a job there.
That's persistence right there.
It's like how we all got into cyber marketing, which is we just kind of like tripped and fell into it in some
But it's
way.
from a love of passion and excitement and belief in it too. Like that's one of the wonderful things I find about cybersecurity marketing marketers in particular is that it's like this belief in the mission. Like we are not here to I worked for General Mills and I used to wake up in the morning and go, it's only yogurt. It's gonna be okay because it's only yogurt, right?
That's pretty
But
good.
like this is so much more than yogurt. It's something that we all are like behind and want to better the world with, and to find those companies that have that mission is like puts us all pep in our step to get up in the morning and go. So yes to your
Yeah.
persistence on that.
Yeah, it is a mission driven or world. I know obviously as marketers we're dealing with pipeline and revenue and MQLs and SQLs and opportunity and close one, close loss, that sort of stuff, right? As marketers, we're involved in the business side of it. However, in the end, what makes a business successful in cyber is helping the defenders defend, is helping protect data, people, PII, is providing solutions that reduce the stress on our defenders, on the security personnel, on the IT person, depending on size of company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, if we're doing good at our job as marketers in the industry, we're helping down the line protect
Yeah.
people, data, lives in a lot of ways. I'm not saying we're doctors, but like, you know what I mean.
But I know we're not saving babies, but in other ways we are helping. It feels like a bigger contribution than, I don't know, selling yogurt. So I'm
Yeah.
here for it, Gianna, and I appreciate all the great work y'all are doing and happy to have like an inch of that. Let's talk about community. You've built this wonderful community, you've been growing it steadily but surely. So you talked about how it got started, but after doing this for a few years now, like what does community mean to you? What does it evolve to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a canned answer for any of those, like, what is community questions. Like, I'm not gonna be
Good.
like, I don't have any of that. I am not like a think tank person
Thank
here.
God.
I just
I
know
need
from
that too.
doing it for years now, like what I believe to work and what I believe to not work. So community means for me a place where you can be understood and heard and helped, and you're with your people, basically. That's
Yes.
also not canned. I just pulled that out
Belonging.
of the air, but it is belonging. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the hierarchy of needs. First, we need to feel safe, and then we need to have a sense of belonging, and then we need to have a sense of purpose. And we can't have purpose without first feeling like we belong and we have safety to go with it. So we're
Mhm.
all looking for those safe places to go and be authentically ourselves and ask those what feels like stupid questions. I have a
Yeah.
stupid question. You just need to feel like you can ask those questions somewhere and they're not
Mhm.
going to feel
You need to know
they're not.
someone else is experiencing the same pain you are, and that's a lot of our community, of the society. It's like, "Hey, I have this problem, and I know there's 1,000 people in here who've already gone through it. I am the CMO, and I'm talking to a, a board, a board that's on the offensive. How would you proactively Say, what are you showing them in your board decks? I'm a social media marketer. What are you guys seeing? I saw the LinkedIn algorithm change. What are you seeing with your company pages? I'm a product marketer. Does anyone have a slick that you really like? Because I kind of hate mine, right? There are, hey, my boss or the CEO is being annoying. Doesn't understand marketing. I need help either fixing this or getting out. Like these are all
Mhm.
problems that us as marketers in security that others have experienced. And so sometimes you just need a shoulder to cry on or in a listening ear and a little advice. And sometimes there are people in the society who can actually help you. Here's a slick, here's my template. Oh, I did this. I did this in HubSpot. Oh, here's what I'm seeing in social. Here's what I showed my board. Right. So it's where you can go and have people know the same challenges you have.
I don't know how this question's gonna go, but I'm gonna ask it anyway because that's what we're here for. It feels a little counterintuitive because when you're in a space, especially as competitive and as dense as cybersecurity, there feels like there should be some struggle there in terms of like letting our secrets out and sharing too much. But it sounds like that's not a worry at all.
There is. So everyone who joins the society knows that your competitors are probably in the society. I mean, how many services companies are there? How many pen testing companies are there, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, um, despite being it's an interesting industry, despite there being a lot of competition between, companies, among marketers, we're very collaborative. And sure, don't give away a trade secret. Don't say, hey, well, here's some company info that nobody should know except for me, right? But
Right.
marketing, in a lot of ways, doing good marketing is not like the secret sauce to beating out your competitors. I mean, marketing is important, but um, if you're having a problem with LinkedIn, so social media page, right?
Hmm.
It's like table stakes. It's like who cares, right? In the world of things. I'll also say that there's two other things in this industry. One, there because it's so crowded and so expensive to be a marketer in cyber, there's a lot of cost that we experience that I didn't experience in my last industry, like a lot of very specific events because our TAM is so difficult to get in front of. A lot
Hmm.
of very expensive things you can spend money on. There's a lot of actually collaboration in the community because since it's so crowded, since there's so many categories of companies, even though you maybe compete with like 10 companies, you probably don't compete with like 1,200 companies. And therefore, there's opportunity to collaborate, to co-market, to work together. Third and last
Hmm.
thing on that point is that it's just like I said, it's a small industry, so despite the fact that you are head to head against, another, company, one day you might work together with the other marketers on that
Oh
team.
my gosh, that's so true.
It's very true. So, that's what makes
Yes.
security marketing really, despite there being, sure, lots of companies and lots of competition, very collaborative and very open.
It I mean, it's how we broke into cyber as an agency, right? We had one client that left a company. They were a VMware, which is sort of
Mhm.
just like VMware is security, but it also has a bunch of other things that it does. And this person ended up at a cybersecurity company and they brought us in and then we met a bunch of people and they left and then they went to other cybersecurity
Yeah.
companies. Like once you're in.
I'm sure, and you're in. And you know what? Because there's so many competitors and so many categories, a lot of times when hiring, the marketing team wants to hire a marketer from a company where they already know what you do. So if if they hire from a competitor, if there's no non-compete or whatever in place.
Right.
So again, you might just be working head to head with someone who was directly on the opposite side business wise. And that's just the nature of the industry.
And now you're hanging out together and
Yeah. It's like,
doing
who
good work
cares?
together and going out for a drink at the end of the day. It's great.
Exactly.
It's um so let's talk about how you've built the community. It started in Slack.
Mhm.
It started with just 2 or 3 of you. Now Aileen's on the board. She was on my show. I'm going to link to that in the comments because she's wonderful. Um, and it just grew. At what point did you realize, oh, this is happening?
Excuse
Like
me.
we
And
gotta
sorry, I keep
like
yawning. It's not,
no,
this is not boring or
not
anything. I'm just,
personal. No,
I
it's
think my
Q4. The struggle
room,
is
like
real.
the CO2 like fills in the air when I talk too much and then I get sleepy. Um, so yeah, when did we know? I mean, I think we knew immediately that it would be something, right? I don't know about, is it a business? Is it a thing that you do full time? Like who knows, right? I don't
Mhm.
operate that way in any case, really. I like to play like an artist and try things, right? Um, so we knew it was something because people, again, it grew word of mouth. And if we mentioned it to people, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I want to come in that. I want to join." Like, "Oh wow, okay, you have the same problem too. You also lack connection. You also lack mentorship. You also have questions. You also want to know about the landscape of the industry. Yeah, come and join us. It's and then I think last year at our conference, our in-person conference, our very first in-person conference, I think we really knew that this was something sustainable because we thought 80 people would come to our conference. This is the first time we're doing an in-person conference. We planned it in 6 months, by the way. 6 months, which is a horrifyingly short amount of time. We sold tickets in August for we opened ticket sales for in August for a conference in November. August, September, October, November, 4 months out, right? Horrifying now that I look back at it. Really scary. And we thought 80 people would come. So we got a hotel, our first time doing a conference. We thought 80 people would come. We had to turn ticket sales off the day before our conference started because we had 218 people coming. And 218 is too much for our hotel that we were at.
Oh no.
So that is when we really knew, I think, and of course Maria has her own, probably her own initial, her spark moment, but that is when I think I really knew that this was a thing that could be sustainable too.
What? So you had too many tickets. What did you do? You had
Well, it was
18.
just very crowded. Yeah,
It's
everyone got to
cozy.
know each other. Yep, it was a cozy conference.
A cozy, a cozy conference. So what are you doing this year that's different than last year then in terms of learning that maybe it's more than 80 people?
It is a much bigger hotel. We have a lot of space at this conference. We are doing all sorts of interesting, fun things differently. So last year's hotel was not in a walkable area. This year's hotel is in Austin, Texas, in the downtown. You could literally walk to whatever you want to get to.
So much
We're
FOMO.
we're doing a group outing on Monday night. We're getting party buses. We're gonna get on and go to local Austin destinations to give everybody attending our conference a taste of Austin. Because a lot of times people have a conference and you don't actually step outside of the hotel and you don't get to experience where you are.
It's
And
true.
Austin's a destination. It is going to be nice weather. It's going to be, nippy, but not as cold as everyone else's like home state.
I'm so cold. I'm
Yeah.
so cold.
Exactly. So, those are some of the things that we're doing differently. We're also live streaming it, you know, as long as nothing breaks, which sometimes things break, but live streaming and definitely recording it too. So, we're doing a lot of things the same, and then a lot of things different.
Well, I'll get to tune in virtually, Gianna, and I will be there with eyeballs and in spirit for sure.
Awesome.
W-
As long as you and if you haven't filled out your information, make sure you do before the end of this week, Carrie, because we are shipping our swag bags out next week in like 4 days, basically. Yeah, yeah. If you're in the US, you get a swag bag
Well,
shipped to you, even if you're virtual.
I'll put down my mother's address. It'll be great.
There you go.
I'll get my swag bag when I get to the US in a few weeks. I can't wait. Um, let's talk about the community as itself because I find that this is sort of definitely the hot topic of what everybody's trying to figure out right now of how do I build a community and why should I build one and why is it important? So for you, it was sort of this organic, wonderful thing that happened. What's the importance for you now? Like why what keeps you going and like is it a full-time job? I mean, I think it's still on the side. I don't know. You tell me. Is it a full-time job now where you are all dedicated and to making this thing like tell me more around what it means to like be in this now.
Mhm. Yeah, so I started doing this full time in January of this year. The reason, because I think you could tell by the way I talked about it. I love Votiro. I think it's an amazing company and the team is excellent. They have a wonderful, brilliant new marketing leader who far surpasses me in skills and talent now. So good for them. um, but I loved working with them. So it was very painful, but the needs of the society outgrew the time that we had as part timers to run it. Because as you asked about expansion, Carrie, like the things that we've done, right? We still have our private Slack community. We still have that as a thriving hub of our community. It's very poppin'. I've been in other Slack communities. Ours is very poppin'.
Yeah.
Um,
We're
and
gonna dig into that in a second.
and we started to do more. We started to serve the needs of our members because I believe in a thing that I've been calling. I said I'm not a thinky tank lady, but I call it distributed community, right? Because a lot of community wants you to like follow their rule, like do this, like be in this space. But I just happen to know so well the pains of being a marketer in this crazy, crazy industry that it's like that I knew that we couldn't do something that was only a Slack community, right? So we launched newsletters, we launched media, we launched a podcast, we do virtual events, we do virtual meetups, we do like multiple virtual meetups a month. We do like 10 a month, right? And
Wow.
juggling that, yeah, different types. We have one for EMEA, which Slauson is on. I don't know if she's still on. Hi, Slauson. We have one for partner marketers. We have one for folks who want to workshop their funnel metrics. That was the one that we did earlier this morning. We have a MOPS one. So we have all of these things and these services and these supportive things that we do for marketers, and we continue to add more because people would ask us like, oh, what about analyst relations? And I'd be like, why don't we, sure, like let's get that going. Like, oh, what's the ROI of attending these huge events? So we started doing research because we have so many companies. We started doing research with our community members on what the ROI of attending and boothing at RSA and Black Hat were. And all of this grew and grew and grew until it reached a
Yeah.
breaking point, which, yes, was aligned to throwing our event. Last year, our event, me and Maria were both part time. We weren't no
Wow.
one was full time on the society, and we still threw a
And you
fantastic
still
event.
threw an event,
Yeah,
and now
so
you're
there
doing
was
it full.
a point where it was like, we got to keep doing more because that's what the community wants. We build for the community, but there's just no time.
And so you're full time now. I love what you're saying though, because you kind of got to like
Yeah. I burnt
think like
out.
a marketer. Yeah, you got to think like a marketer in this way of meeting people where they are. And so you've branched out into all these different channels outside of the Slack community. Let's talk about the Slack community for a second because I'm part of a few Slack communities. Not this one. I'm not allowed, and that's cool. Kind of. I'll get over it. I'm part of a few Slack communities, and some of them are on fire, like this. It sounds like this one is, and some of them are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have some feelings, instances as to why this one community I'm in, Marketing Women. Shout out to Gabrielle and Natalie, who run that one, is doing so well. But I'd love to know. I only have one instance. So what is it? You said that it's poppin'. So what does poppin' mean for you? And then how do you keep it poppin'?
How do we keep it popping? And what does poppin' mean? Poppin' means that people are posting and replying and engaging in discussion. And I think it's popping because people know that if they ask a question there, someone will have an answer. Or if they want to chat about something spicy in the industry. We also have like a pop-in news channel and we have a pop-in memes channel. Like we do more than just say what's the best product marketing slick, right? We do lots of that, but we also engage in the industry at large and also marketing at large in our community. So we are popping because people comment, they post. There's tons of activity in the jobs board and there's tons of activity. Of course, there are folks who will never post in the Slack. And I'm like, and the thing about that also, Carrie, is I'm okay with that. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I have members who have literally like not even logged into the Slack and they come to every single meetup. And it's like, oh, okay. They're like, I don't like Slack. I'm like, that's cool. We've launched. So what we've been doing is we've been doing and starting a newsletter for the Slack for the busy folks. So, right, if you're too busy to pop into Slack, sometimes because it's so poppin', it's like a little overwhelming for maybe like a CMO or someone. We have a digest about it. We do all sorts of things to make Slack be like the hub, but then have all of these tentacles that go out of it so that it can be accessible to all sorts of folks, all sorts of marketers. And like I said, there are the ones who are like literally like join all of our virtual events and then never post in the Slack and
Show up.
and they come back and they're or people who've never talked to me and they leave, they get a new job, they need to change their email, they resubmit, they get let back in, and it's like their message is like, oh my god, I want to get back in so bad, this is like the most valuable thing in the world. And it's like, I've never talked to you at all. That's great, I'm so glad. So that's
The
what I mean by
validation.
popping. Yeah.
Yes. The
Yeah.
validation is real.
Yeah. It's the amount of people who come back who are just like lurkers, even who come back who are like desperate. They're like, oh, I just got a new job, I got to get back in. And I'm like, yeah, you can come back in, but also like, hi, how are you? Like, you've
How's
literally
it go?
never posted once, but I'm so glad that we're valuable. We have no expectation is what it is. We don't expect people to give their labor, we don't, there's none of this like we post all the time about like, oh, make sure to like reply to this like automated thing that we like,
Oh no, what a
programmatic stuff. We don't have bots feeding content into our community to make it seem active. It's real human people in there.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It sounds like you have a couple channels going on too, and there's a couple thriving that really helps it keep going. So careers is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Memes for everyone, memes all day,
Oh
every
my
day.
gosh. We give someone's a meme winner, meme king or queen of the year at the end is going to be at our conference. So we're going to announce that.
I mean, that's reason to go to the conference enough.
I know.
Who is
I
the meme?
know.
I mean, yes to that. Um, is there any moderation in this, or is it really just the community building upon the community? How engaged are you and the board members in like keeping the thing going, or is it just really thriving on its own?
Yeah, so I have the hat of community moderator, so I'm in there all the time. We are at a scale where we're probably gonna ask maybe some of our members to help moderate. But right now we have very strong rules. We have very clear, direct rules about what is okay and what is not okay in our community, and everybody must confirm that they've read it. So when they join, they know no selling, no hating, no be nice, don't be, no isms, no messaging people asking them to buy your hair care product, like none of that, right? So they know.
Being
And
adult. Yeah.
exactly. And then our members also, the reason they're in here is they like that. And if anyone transgresses one of these rules, we make the decision per what we've outlined in our rules, whether to talk to them, to delete their thing, or to kick them out. And I've only had to kick out a few people in the
I think it
3
helps
years.
that you're very clear on who's allowed in and who isn't as well. Like I think if you
Yes.
had more vendors, they'd be more trying to break the rules. I wouldn't be one of those, just letting you know, but I think
Yeah.
that there would be more opportunity for that. So I love that you're just very clear on like who this is for, who's allowed in and who isn't, and then what those rules and guidelines are.
Yeah.
And I think that really helps people feel safe to want to engage as well.
Yeah. And we have the backs of the members. We have the backs of the members, and we're not transactional. We are not transactional at all. So that's another thing that I'm very proud of. I've heard many times, many of our members have messaged me and said, "Thank you for building a community that is not transactional. You don't allow selling. You're not filling it with sponsored things every day." We are truly trying to create a space where cybersecurity marketers can connect, learn, grow through the lifetime of their career.
Let's talk about the marketing side of it because we're all marketers and that's what we're here for. And you mentioned some aspects of that you're doing from newsletters to the podcast. And so, how are those contributing to either supporting the community to keep it going or helping it grow organically? What are those channels? You mentioned a few of them, like I said, newsletters and podcasts. Are there any
Mhm.
I'm missing? And then what are you doing to amplify those to help your marketing efforts?
Yeah. So from a, because you're saying, support the community, help the community grow. There's two different things. So
Mhm.
from a revenue perspective, right? Because how does this thing survive
You're
when
full
we've
time
got
now. That's real.
full time, plus Maria spends a lot of time on it, right? We have, some folks helping us, and we make money right now through sponsorship. So we have partners. They're not allowed in the community still, despite the fact that they financially and promotionally support the Cybersecurity Marketing Society. Um, if someone gave me $1 million, they would not be allowed in the community. They would not be allowed. But we do have partners who understand the challenges of marketers in cyber, who want to support and get their brand in front of marketers in cyber, and that's how we currently are surviving as a society, as a community. And then for things you asked about, also, like, how are we advertising our community? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, it's just like you're a marketer at heart. And so there's natural ability to want to market this thing to help it grow
Yeah.
naturally through user base, but also through, like you said, sponsorship. So I'm just curious, like how you're putting your marketing expertise to the test here.
Yeah, we actually don't even ask our members to invite new members. They just do it organically. We're like, I'll get like every day I'll get like multiple Slack requests, and I have to be like, "Hey guys, sorry, like can you route them to this like application form, and then we'll review and maybe let them in." So we don't do anything like that affiliate stuff like that. Maybe we should, honestly. Like there's lots of opportunity, I think, here for me and for the society to do better in terms of marketing our community. Um, so we don't utilize our members too much. I mean, our members will tag us on LinkedIn if they got a job through our community, which helps a lot. I do if I see marketers who are unemployed or recently laid off, which is a big thing right now, who are in
Yeah.
cyber, I invite them to join the community if they haven't already, because we have such a great helping hand, a lot of resources. We've got a careers division. We offer 15 free minutes through with a careers coach that's partnered with the society, so that they can sort of get a quick, like, high level, like, update your LinkedIn here, resume review, and an ear to listen and to give some career advice to. And then we have our webinars. We use LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn and email, and then we're doing for our conference LinkedIn advertising, which is funky. Um, and those are our
Why is
three
it
channels.
funky? Tell me
Well,
more about
there was a
why.
glitch. There was a glitch in LinkedIn for about a week and a half or 2 weeks, where the paid ads were only running at 1,200 by 627.
No, no.
Yeah, if you don't know that, it's like, great, all your ad spend for that week was like, so we spent so I have to, like, reach out to LinkedIn and ask for my money back.
Hold them accountable. Do
Yeah.
that for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I think this is magical. What I love about community and what I want, I'm going to sort of recap here of what I feel like I heard you say, but also I think the real important messages here is that community comes from the heart of the people who started it in the mission and efforts to bring people together around a common cause of like their own challenges, right? Like you started this from a place of just having a natural conversation and then adding people to that over time, and now it's taken off and you want to support them even further, but it comes from a place of wanting to support them even further. I find that people like feel there's this buzzword, I need to go out and build a community and
Yeah,
hurry up, and it's like purpose. You
yeah.
have to have clear,
Why? Why? Why do you exist? Why would you build a community? Who
why would
cares?
people come?
It's just like marketing. It's like, who gives an SHIT, right? Like, why?
Mhm.
Ask why 5 times and see if you get to anything decent. And if the why at the end is because we want to sell our products, great, I guess. I mean, I think there's value in having a community that is branded or has some sort of, like, is supported by a company. But if it's just to sell your products, you're really starting like a user group, right? You're trying to use it as a promotional
Oh, true
tool. I'm
story. That's
sure.
a great differentiation.
Yeah, and I know there's lots of ways to do, like, branded communities. There's very successful ones. B2B Coffee Talk is like a very non-salesy CMO community, and it's run by Latney, um, at Six Sense, and
Mhm.
at Heinz Marketing
Mhm.
Group, right? So it's very branded, but it doesn't feel very transactional or sponsory. So there's ways to do it if you want to make money through it, but it has to be done well. And you got to put the resources in, which includes time. It took us 3 years to get to where we are, more than 3 years. So it's not instant at all.
It's a long play.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long play built in purpose. Yes. To those folks who have built communities and are maybe struggling right now because they didn't have the same, for whatever reason, there's a million reasons. The lawyer, sort of answer of it depends,
I love that
as to why
answer.
this thing isn't working. But sort of what's the biggest takeaway? The last 3 years you've built this thing, you're still growing, you're still doing well, you're trying to support the community even bigger now, and you have the resources to do it. What do you know now?
Oh my god. Oh, you can
You
hear
brought it
that?
up
Oh,
now. I'm
that's
so
so gross.
self-conscious of it.
I'm
Ah,
sorry. I should have
what do you know
muted.
now? No, it's fine. It's a me thing. I'm gonna work on it. What do you know now, Gianna, that you wish you could have told yourself 3 years ago in regards to building this thing? What's the one piece of advice? I'm not a big advice giver, but you've lived through it. So what is that for you?
Be operationally excellent. Ops, right? Because we didn't start with the form. Think about, I would say be as exclusionary as possible. And I would say set up all your crap as early as possible, right? Because we have HubSpot, right? And it's just
Mhm.
we run the form through that. And just the other day, literally just the other day, it was oh, addresses. We should ask for addresses so we could send gifts when people join or a postcard or something. And it's wow, dumb AAS. Hello, why didn't we do this year, months and months and months and years ago? So that's what I would tell myself. Try to be more operationally efficient. Get all your workflows lined up. I guess it's a marketing thing to have SOPs and to have everything all kind of workflowed out in a Miro board or whatever. But that's what I would tell myself. But I wouldn't tell myself much, honestly. I would say, I would just say, do it, keep doing it, because a lot of
Just get
people
started.
also give up.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets overwhelming and daunting, and if you're not getting the traction that you think you should be because you're comparing yourself to everybody else, stop doing that,
Mhm.
please. Then yes, it's very easy to just quit on the spot. So good on you for building this beautiful thing, for holding true to your values and sticking it out. And I can't wait to hear how the conference goes. I'm going to be calling Mike and texting him constantly. It's going to be really annoying. So, yay for having a virtual side of it. So, I cannot do that. He's going to be eternally grateful to you, Gianna, for that. And if you haven't registered, whether in person or virtually, for the Cyber Marketing Con event, go do that. Trevor was kind enough to drop it in the comments for you. So, thank him for making that happen. And dopamine in those, yes, dopamine for sure. Trevor, this is what it's all about, and building community and belonging is that dopamine, helping us all feel like we're not alone. So thank you, Gianna, for building such a wonderful place. Last question for you as we close out here, because you're more than a marketer. What, in the last 3 years with COVID and the change of the world and just how everything's been turned upside down, what's changed for you personally? Have you picked up any new hobbies? Are you traveling more? What's some big event that sort of, other than building a community? We've already covered that in spades. So something
Yeah.
else.
So
That's
Trevor
happened for you.
mentioned CreatorCon, so I do want to also plug that quickly. Sorry, Carrie. I'll answer your
No,
question in
let's do
a
it.
second. So at Cyber Marketing Con, two things we're doing. We're doing two mini events inside of Cyber Marketing Con. One of them is Cyber Creator Con. So if you are a media influencer in security, if you are a security engineer who has a podcast, or uh, an architect, a security architect who has a large social media following, or you want to be that way, you want to grow a profile and an audience, then attend Cyber Creator Con. It is free. It is free. It's live streamed and virtual. It will be in Austin, Texas, inside of Cyber Marketing Con. If you attend live, there will be an opportunity to collab with your fellow creators. We got a podcast studio. We have a video recording studio for you to use for free. Um, You'll be able to network with marketers who have budget to spend on influencer campaigns and working with influencers and up and coming influencers. And also, you'll just have a damn good time, as well as learn from all sorts of really awesome experts in the world of security and cybersecurity, influencing and creatorism. And then there's Cyber CMO Summit, which is also inside of Cyber Marketing Con. Only for the CMO. You must be the head of marketing at your organization to gain access to this invite-only closed-door track inside of Cyber Marketing Con. It's one day. It's on December 12th. That's Tuesday. Cyber Creator Con is Monday, December 11th. And again, Creator Con's free. Cyber CMO Summit, you could get a one-day ticket for that if you can't attend the whole event, but there's also CMO content throughout the whole event. So highly recommend you buy the full pass for Cyber Marketing Con. And Carrie, you said, what has changed? I moved back north. I used to live in Florida. I moved back north.
Where's north? North is very big.
The greater Philadelphia area. Yeah.
Oh, are you from there?
I'm from, New Jersey. Well, I was born in California. From New Jersey, though. So grew up there.
I grew up right outside of Philly. So I went to Drexel, and then I moved to New York for a hot second, and then I hightailed it to the West Coast. So we sort of like flip-flop there. But
very cool. And now you're in the UK, right?
And now I'm in the UK, but I'm coming home.
If you can get your passport.
No, we got our passport sorted.
Or you leave the kids behind. They get to stay with grandma for for an extended vacation.
It was very close to that potentially happening. Yes, it was a little scary. I think if I showed up without my children, there would have been a riot.
Oh boy.
I think my grandmother alone would have incited, my 85-year-old grandmother would have incited a riot of like why her great-grandchildren were not at Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's true. That's so true.
Yes. But I'm excited to come back to the city of brotherly love and get on my Delco accent and live it hard. It's going to be great. I'm here for it. So yes, to Philly, way to be in the Northeast. Let's do this. Gianna, what a conversation. I'm so grateful. I know people are trying to figure out this community thing right now. What a beautiful example of what you've built, and keep on keeping on. Yes to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on, Carrie. Had a lot of fun. All right. Bye, everyone. See you around.
See you around. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. This episode is brought to you by MKG Marketing, the digital marketing agency that helps cybersecurity and complex brands get found via SEO and digital ads. If you want to be a guest, DM me. I'd love to have you on and share your story of how you became a marketer. Thank you all so much.
The music. Neat.
Peter, he's magical.
Wow.
That, right?
All right. Bye, Carrie.